Hi, everybody. Welcome. Good morning. Good afternoon, wherever you may be. I'll just let a few people get in here if they're going to be coming in before I show you what I'm up to. Good morning. So with Debbie, she says she'll be sewing while watching. Second coffee of the day because it is 7:59 a.m. We are back to our pretty much standard winter. It's about 6 degrees right now. That's Celsius, by the way. And sort of semi-cloudy. Hello, KD Crafts. Good morning. Yeah, January was a little weird. I did a community post on the 11th when we had that cold snap. That was strange. Hello, Deb Somerville and Terry Amsden. Thank you very much for coming in. We don't usually get minus 17. Our weather generally comes across the Pacific. That's why we have a marine climate. It stays relatively warm in the winter and relatively cool in the summer. But anytime the weather shifts and comes from the east, it is bad news all around. So we had that cold snap. Came from, originally was some kind of system from Russia, and it came across the pole and went through all northern Canada and everything, and then it came here. It was cold. No, it didn't do anything. It was just cold. And then about a week later, the cold had kind of gone a bit because the systems were battling it out. So there was a wet one coming across, and it warmed up, but it was still cold enough. Then we got a big dump of snow. And usually we get, if we get snow, I mean, some winters we get none, but if we get snow, it's maybe 3 inches or whatever. No, this was like a couple of feet. It was a big dump. My husband was out with a snowblower for like 2 hours. But it was warmer, like -3 or so. This was on the 17th. Like there was a snow day at school. Like everything was shut. Like, yeah. Last Friday and overnight into Saturday, we had an atmospheric river. And our little area got 72 millimeters. That's just shy of 3 inches. And outlying areas of the city are kind of lower. So there was some localized flooding, but nothing too crazy. But the village of Pemberton, that's up by Whistler, they had a local state of emergency because their creeks were overflowing. And some people were on evacuation alert and stuff like that. So it was a little crazy. But they got 113 millimeters because they got more rain over on Sunday. We got like sprinkle, like it didn't do anything. It was basically like Friday night we got rain. So now it's like totally normal. It is partly cloudy. The sun's trying to come out. I hope this is it till spring. And I have no idea what our groundhog did because I haven't been paying attention. Oh, an awkward quilter Lisa here for a few work. Yeah, no worries. And Vintage Style by Joe. She says, good morning. I'm watching while shopping at Dollar Tree. Have fun, Joe. Oh, good morning, Mozilla. Thanks for coming in. Joe, did you see my reply to the comment you left on my video of yesterday about those pieces not being that small? I will explain in this video if you can actually watch it or just catch the replay later. Okay, now there's a bunch of you here. I'm going to switch to the other camera. So I'll come back to chat in a minute because once I turn that on, I can't really see chat that good. So I'll show you what I'm up to. Just a second. Okay, there you go. I'm showing the board. My camera audio is off so we don't have echo. So I'll try to talk a bit louder so that you can actually hear me because I'm going to be over there. Okay. I know that some of you have seen my videos about the rainbow blocks. Those are 8 by 10, 8.5 by 10. What's the standard size? Whatever. Anyway, yeah, 8.5 by 10, right? Anyway, I bought a big pack of newsprint weight paper from Amazon, and that's what I'm using for those rainbow blocks. But this is cut up phone book. Yes, I'm dating myself horribly, but I do have an old phone book, and it's big enough that I cut these 8 by 8 because I want my blocks to be squared up to 7.5 by 7.5. You can do this whatever size you want. The method is the same no matter what. I'm going to show you another thing that I might use at some point. For bigger. This is one of those kids' doodle pads from the dollar store. I forget which one. Dollarama, probably. Newsprint weight. Nice and thin. 9 by 12 inches. I could easily cut 9-inch squares out of that and then square them down to 8.5 to be bigger. That's not a problem. If you wanted them really big, you could take 11 by 17 computer paper and square it to 11. It's fine, whatever you want to do. Now, I only use the Sharpie mark from corner to corner as a reference point because I'm not having a seam there. I put my white strip down the middle, but I also don't want to put my white strip down the middle there and show this big black Sharpie going through. So, flip it over to the back, and I can still kind of see it because Sharpie comes through. And I take what's this called? This Roxanne the Glue Based It stuff. Comes in handy. And I just kind of do a faint, I'm not really even blobbing hardly any, it's just a tiny bit. I just don't want that white strip jiggling around while I'm sewing. Put it back on there. And then line the strip up. This is right sides up, by the way. Sometimes it's hard to tell what the heck the right side is on white on white. Right side up. Put it in the middle. And before I pat it down, I'm just going to lift it up to my light and look and make sure I'm centered in the middle. Or at least pretty darn close. There we go. Perfecto. Okay. Pat, pat, pat. Done. Let's cut off the flappy bit. Out of the way. What I usually do for these is I start all of them. Like I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do. I don't know, 10 or something here. Anyway, I've got white thread in the machine. So I did a couple yesterday. So I started with a color. So I'll do a color on one side of them all, and then I'll do a color on the other side of them all. And however many blocks I want to do, they're started. Then I'll take the white out and I'll just use whatever random thread I've got to stitch the rest of them and use that thread. But for the beginning, just in case I want it to be white. So then, let's use this skinny strip. Now because these blocks are not huge, the largest cut I'm making is 2 inches wide. Just so it's not too hefty. So I went through my boxes of squares, of strips, yesterday, and I went through my bag of the big wide ones, and I actually cut some of the big wide ones skinnier because they were too big. Okay, move the coffee out of the way. There's that one. I'm going to put a couple pins in it. I'm just sitting in the machine now. I'll check the chat in a second. You guys get the idea. I will do some sewing while I'm chatting with you too, but I just want to show you how the prep kind of went. Actually, I do kind of chain piece them a little bit. So I'll do like 4 or 5 and I'll just run them through. So let's just go back to chat for a sec. There we go. Okay. Oh, hi, Laura Lynn. And so Terry. Oh, Mozilla said the shoe shop's damp. Arthritis is bad. And Tracy Probus. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thanks for coming in, everybody. So let's give this a little bit of a stitching. And then I'll show you closer up. Sorry, my machine's a little bit loud. Talk amongst yourselves. I just dropped my stitch length down from 2.2 to 2 just to make it a little bit tighter. Not that I'm cutting across these or anything, but I do have to tear the paper off after. I'll spin the laptop around later and show you my potential layout. Not that I'm doing it right now. I'll wait till I have a pile more block soda. This is one of those work on periodically projects. Like the crumb blocks. Okay. So there, it's sewn. Flip it open and press. Make sense? Debbie says, I am making a dress for myself. Would rather be finishing a quilt. Oh, yeah, this was the event you said you had, right? You went and bought the fabric the other day? Or a zipper or something? Sorry, memory's failing. Okay. Press it open a little bit with my fingers. Sometimes I have found with these strips, they don't always want to lay flat. So when you sew the next strip on, they kind of poof up a bit. I had that problem with some of those rainbow blocks. So sometimes before I sew the next one on, I give it a shot of best press. But I'll leave it until I come to sew the next strip onto that darker bluish one. Let that be where it is right now. Let it cool down. Oh, my eye's gonna run. Lisa says, Debbie, you just need to live in PJs. Mozilla, got home from Arizona yesterday. Thankfully, furnace came on, but still no water. Oh, no. That's not good. Oh, and Debbie says, yes, then Hub's recommended changes so it doesn't look like a tent. I'm sure you're a good sewer, Deb. I'm sure I've never seen you make clothes before, but I've seen you do quilting stuff. I'm sure it wouldn't look like a tent. And thank you, Terry, for the thumbs up. Oh, Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte. Charlotte DeRush came in. Laura Lynn says, hey, everyone. Hope you're having a great day so far. We're in for more snow, 15 to 20 centimeters. That's I did comment on your Kawandi project, Laura Lynn. That's in the back of my mind for a while. I think Brenda did her video like in the summer. I went, oh, that's cool. Actually, she did 2 videos, one for machine and one for by hand. Lisa says you can keep the snow. When the older I get, the more I understand those old lady dresses. Terry, Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, we are having another rainy day here. I suppose the flowers need watering. Oh, and before I forget, happy birthday, Deb, for tomorrow. And no, I'm not going to sing. No one wants to listen to that. I don't have a nice voice like Laura Lynn does. So I'm going to flip you guys back to the table while I organize a few more strips. Oh, Vintage Style by Joe says, love the lemon fabric. I want to find some. Joe, I got that at Fabricland. So try Joann's maybe? They had a whole range of food fabric, and they always have it. There's constantly stuff there all the time. Oh, thank you. The birthday that never ends. Okay. Oh, sorry. Back to the camera. 1 second. Okay. All right. There's that one. Put it in the pile with the finished ones, and let's do. I only have a few white strips cut up, so I might have to cut more for all the papers I drew a line on. We'll see. Oh, no, wait a minute. This way. Not that it matters particularly, I suppose. Whoops, that one's not right there. Hold on. There, that looks better. Let's check. Good. Okay. That one's good. How about Easter fabric? This one is 2 inches wide. But it won't finish up like that, obviously. Cut off the flapping end so we don't have it in my way. That could be another piece for another time. Just throw it back in the bag. All right, there's that one. And goes this way. I'm just setting up a couple more here and then I'll carry on, I guess. We'll see. If you guys are good to hang out, I don't have to go anywhere just yet. I'll just keep sewing. All right. Oops, no. I always get the close end to me messed up. There. Okay. Is that turquoise big enough? No, that's for another one another time. Let's do this Christmas red here. Okay. Goes in the bin. There. These two will do. Let's press some more. The green's long enough. That'll work. Blue with flowers on it. And let's see. That's a bit short. That's probably short. Might have to dig in the box a bit more. Okay. Yeah. This one's way long. Yeah, that's good. There. Okay. All right, I'm gonna switch back here. There we go. Okay. Bye, Lisa. Thanks for coming by. I'm using StreamYard, Terry. Oh, good morning, Jackie. Thanks for coming in. Jackie DBD Stitch Arts here. So you understand the principle of this is pretty simple. You can obviously do this without the paper. I just find it's easier to sort of keep everything kind of corralled and tidy, just because the pieces are kind of small. Let's moving around. Coffee's getting cold. I just pinned up a few ready to go. Sometimes I'm not sure what you guys see in that camera, because like I have the good camera facing me, so I don't get a visual. I have to kind of semi-peer over here to the laptop to see it. So I'm guessing. Whoops. Wrong way. Don't sew that side, Kelly. That's the wrong side. The white pieces I cut at 1.5 inches, so when they're done, they'll be 3/4. I'll show you a close-up of one of the blocks in a sec. For some reason, I have a few blocks where the white strip turned out more like 5/8 or half. So I might just keep those aside and just do that on purpose for other blocks. You can totally suit this to color themes if you wish. Seasons, put a black strip in the middle, whatever. Use your imagination. Alternate with red and green Christmas fabric and make a table runner or a wall hanging. That would be cute. This fabric I have on here, that is very Christmas. My blocks are going to be totally random, but if you want to do them Christmas or Halloween or whatever, you totally could. The sky's the limit. Okay, press that one. And we sew the Easter eggs. Next week, the 8th, Thursday. Yes, Thursday. I'm going to be on Katie's Live, sewing with her on her Zoom when she puts it on her channel, Greenland Quilter. I think I might make bags for my daughter and her friend because they're going on their Caribbean cruise in March. So those simple bags that I made starting like last Christmas. I think that's when I made the first one for my friend. And then I made mine, and then we used them when we went to the Caribbean last February. And then I did a whole pile of them more in the spring for a bunch of clients that are also friends because they were cruising in the Med. Charlotte says she can't watch on her phone, but I can on my tablet. I often watch on the iPad that we have. But then again, it's getting old and it doesn't really hold charge that good. So sometimes I have to watch on my laptop because it's plugged in and I'll have power forever. But it does have a pretty good battery, actually. 45 minutes or so. Okay, this one's very Easter. Isn't that cute? So, excuse me momentarily while I press. There's that one. Okay. Here's a few blocks that I did ages ago. I just keep all these in a tub and stick them in the closet. Joe says, just finished my first non-scrappy quilt. Use my Sizzix to cut the squares. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, so they turn out something like that. Now, I probably should not have used this gray because it's kind of too similar to the white, but whatever, it is what it is. This one's kind of light, but it's far enough away. I think it's okay. Lots of blue in that one. Totally random, right? This red bee fabric is, I think it's exactly the same. Pretty darn close anyway. It's the same as the yellow bees I have up in the rainbow quilt. Cute. That one. And that one. Now, I'm going to scoot the laptop around. Close your eyes for a second. I don't want to give everybody a seizure. I'm considering a layout something like that. I don't know how big I'm going to do it, but basically like a zigzag. So it comes out with like a diamond, then a diamond, then a diamond, then a diamond. Probably that's what I'm going to do. I just stuck those up there on the design wall just to see if that would be okay and what I was thinking of or not. But I'm going to have to finish a whole pile more before I decide I want to do it. I want at least a throw size. Ish. Let's tidy them all up here, but I'm all kind of messed up. There we go. What have I got left? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I need one more piece of white. Only have 2. Okay. All right. Oh, what am I getting? Bummed now. Go away. So what's everybody up to for the weekend? Ours is pretty quiet this weekend. Getting a little bit busy coming up. So after I do, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what comes up during the month. Our son's birthday is the 13th, which happens to be Mardi Gras, but whatever. We live in Canada. We don't do Mardi Gras. And we are doing his family party on the 10th. Something else is coming up too. Oh, we're making sausage on the 17th and 18th. That's what it was. My husband's family is from Germany originally, so we make homemade sausage and we have all the stuff. Some family members are coming to help out. Terry says she's just going to be sewing. Yeah, I probably will be this weekend too, Terry. I don't have too much going on. Our daughter always comes over for dinner on Sunday, so we'll see her on Sunday. Tomorrow, she's going to take Ferris out for a hike because it's supposed to be dry. So we'll see her briefly tomorrow. Yeah, so I could be a bit hit and miss with YouTube this month. I will schedule my next live for 2 weeks, which is what, the 16th, I think? Yeah. Or maybe that's the 17th. Whatever. I don't know, Terry, when we cruise next. We were supposed to go at the end of April with my mom and dad to Alaska, but my husband's business got kind of slow, which sometimes happens at Christmas, but it was a little bit too slow even before that. And the final payment day was this past Monday. So we're not going to be coughing up $5,000 to pay off the rest of it. So I just canceled it right after Christmas because I knew we weren't going to be able to do it. But it was to Alaska, and we just booked it just for the heck of it. And we've already been on 3 Alaska cruises. We didn't really need to go for a 4th time anyway. It was just like, let's do it for the heck of it. No big deal. Jackie says it's supposed to be a wet weekend. Probably will try to do some catch-up sewing. Good idea, Jackie. I don't know. Maybe I'll work on rainbow blocks more. I don't know. I'll sew something. Yeah, another Alaskan cruise. I know. It's fun and all, but don't really need to. Now, next year in 2025, we're going to Hawaii because it's our 30th anniversary. So that has priority. After that, may cruise again? I don't know. We'll see. So sorry you're not going to get any cruise video from me. But possibly, I'm just waiting to see because the schedule should be coming out soon. The cruise lines will often let us do tours because I'm close enough to Vancouver, I can get there in a little over an hour. And I've gone by myself. Sometimes a bunch of us colleagues go. When they pull in port and disgorge their passengers, they don't let anybody on for a little while because, their crew doing stuff and whatever. So a pile of travel agents are allowed to go on. And somebody, usually our local, all the cruise lines have like a local rep. So that person will sort of show us around. And we go see the public areas and, okay, this is what this type of cabin looks like. And this is what this type of cabin looks like, etc. So if I get to do that, then I'll film that. Because the ship will be just sitting at the dock in Vancouver waiting to get new passengers on it. So as we're roaming around, there are some passengers coming on, but it's pretty quiet in the morning. Occasionally we have been fed lunch, depending on what the tour was all about. They shove us off in the corner of the dining room while the guests come on and they give us lunch, which is nice, but they don't always do that. And then sort of like 1:30-ish, thereabouts, if we have lunch, or more like 11:30, noonish if we don't, they kick us off. Because then all the guests come and their ship's getting more full and they can't have us wandering around. And then off they go. Usually sail away time is 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30, depending. Debbie says they haven't cruised yet. Maybe next year. Well, Debbie, if you don't already have a travel agent, I can help you. And I have clients all over the place. Just if you don't live here doesn't mean anything. I have American clients. I have clients in Ontario. Chilliwack was settled by a lot of, Dutch immigrants have come here over the years from Holland. So a pile of my colleagues still do bookings for their friends and family back in Europe. Doesn't matter. You just have to pay in Canadian or US dollars. Where you live is immaterial. Look at a repositioning cruise as a test. Yeah, lots of people do that. They don't technically call them repositioning cruises anymore, but that's what they are. Like coming up spring, sometimes they'll do like a coastal where they're done in Mexico, but the ships are coming up to do Alaska, that type of thing. And the reverse in the fall, obviously. And then further afield, like they would be coming in the spring, they'd be coming back from, Asia, Australia, same kind of thing. So you could catch the ship in Japan, Hawaii, whatever, and then come this way. Same goes for fall. And also you can do transatlantics because the ships are done in the Caribbean and go to Europe or vice versa. So those are the sort of repositioning types. It's easier to do a coastal from here. They don't have a ton of them in the spring for some strange reason, though. I looked it up for a friend of mine, and there's like, whatever. So they're easier in the fall. And some of them are actually repositioning, but they're round trips because they'll do a couple of them, and then they'll carry on. Hi, Nancy. Last fall, Deb, if you go back in my travel playlist, I didn't get a whole lot of footage because I was still limping around with my cane last September, but we were on Discovery Princess, and she went from Vancouver down to LA for 6 days, and then we disembarked and flew back. And we sailed out of Vancouver on October the 26th. No, sorry, September the 26th. Something like that. But that's kind of what those can look like. It was a short one. It only stopped in San Francisco. But sometimes they'll stop. Astoria even is a possibility. Sometimes they'll go Catalina Island. Depends on the cruise line. But Vancouver to LA in some fashion is pretty common. Sometimes they're a week, sometimes they're 6 days, sometimes they're 5. Just send me an email. My Gmail is on my info section on my channel. And then I can give you my work email. I don't hand that out to everybody. I'm not allowed to, actually. So. Oh, hey, Leanna. She says, I'm being sneaky. I'm at work, but wanted to stop in, hit the thumbs up, and say hi. Thank you, Leanna. I know Friday's hard because people are working and stuff. And Jean is doing her live right now, so I'm sure there's a bunch of people watching her. This time just works for me. So there is a possibility of doing impromptu lives if I find it easier when I'm the only one in the house because then there's not as much going on. So if my son's working, and sometimes my husband goes into Langley to see his customers and has lunch and whatnot. So he's gone for a couple hours. So if he schedules one of those, I'll just throw a live on. So if coming up you see live at a weird time, that's why, because I'll have the house to myself, except for the dog. I think in the spring too, Debbie, we should meet up and do coffee or something, since we're somewhat close to each other. Meet in the middle. Langley, Surrey, something like that. Bye, Leanna. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. I just booked a friend of mine and her mom to go to Alaska in May. Oh, Deb, I can drive out and check out the Chilliwack quilt stores I keep hearing about. Well, there's 2 of them here. We can do them both. I'll be circumspect about spending money on fabric, but I'd happily go with you. I can't drive anymore, though, so I'll be your guide. One of my camping buddies, she lives in Richmond. She's a friend of a friend. We used to go to Manning Park together to the group site when all our kids were little, but then that sort of fell apart as everybody got older and had jobs and whatever. But her mom's coming from Ontario in May to visit for a little bit, and then she was talking to her mom, and she's, hey, we should go to Alaska. So she just called me up, so I just booked them They're going on the Koningsdam from Holland America on 18th of May for a week. Hopefully weather will be good. One never knows. Kind of like here in BC. Could be nice, could be bleh. Okay, thanks, Deb. In 2022, everything was just kind of getting going still, but my mom and dad are diehard cruisers, and they went to Alaska. And their weather was okay. They had a couple of rainy days, but it wasn't too horrible. And then I booked good friends of ours. They went last spring and last May. I think they sailed at, when did they go? End of May, I think. It was beautiful the whole time. So you just never know. The 3 times we went before, it was hit or miss. We've had rain, we've had stupid wind, we've had sunny and hot. Most of the time we've gone in the summer. The first time was the 3rd week of August. The second time was the 1st week of August, and the third time was the 2nd week of July. You don't know. Pack for everything. Bring a rain jacket, bring an umbrella, bring shorts and a t-shirt. Weird. But it's like that here. The long weekend in Canada is the 3rd weekend of May. That's Victoria Day, is the 3rd Monday of May. It's the Americans do Memorial Day at the end of May. Our long weekend is the weekend before that. And I don't know how many times it's been hotter than heck on that weekend, or it's been pounding rain. And we went camping last weekend. I put footage of Deer Lake. Last year on the May long weekend, we went camping. And it was pretty nice the whole time. It was great. And then on Victoria Day morning, when we packed up to leave, it was bucketing rain. Gross. Vintage Style by Joe. How many cruises have you been on? 6, I think. Hold on. Our very first cruise was a gazillion years ago in 1997. That was before kids and everything. Then when the kids were older, that was on the old Regal Princess. I think there's been 2 since then. Anyway, in 2011, our kids were tweens. That was when my husband's family, my father-in-law had just recently moved and got some money from selling his house and stuff. So he footed the bill. I mean, we had to pay for our own drinks and all that, but he paid for the cruise. And 20 of us, kids, whatever, we all went to Alaska with Celebrity. That was the summer of 2011. Following up to that, we went to Mexico in March of 2018 with our friends and my mom and dad and their friends. That was on the Ruby Princess. And then my mom and dad, same kind of thing. They had moved here and again made a pile on their house, and they took us. Oh, sorry, no, I lied. 2015, my family went one of those down the coast and back. That was a 10 days. Round trip Vancouver. That was easy. It was great. Weather was fabulous. Loved it. So that was 3, Mexico 2018, Alaska 2018, Mexico again in late 2019 with our friends and my daughter, their daughter, and their mutual friend. Then you know what happened, and we had 1, 2, 3 cancel. So last fall was number 7. That was the one down the coast. And then we went to Caribbean last February. So that's 8 altogether. 7 of them on Princess, 1 on Celebrity. 2 of the canceled ones were Celebrity. Would have been great, but just didn't happen. It is what it is. One of them was really, really good deal too, and it was really painful that one didn't go. It was stupidly cheap. Mind you, going across the ocean means you don't have that many ports, so then it's cheaper anyway. Every time you make port, there's port taxes and fees. And no, the cruise line does not cough that up. The guests pay for that. Oh, Emma Cruises. Just wanted to pop in and say hello. Hello, Emma. She's in England, and she has a really, really awesome channel about cruises and her cat Hudson. You got to check her out. She cruises all the time. She's got good info. And she's not an old lady like me. You're very welcome, Emma. I've been watching your channel for a long time. It's good to get tips. I follow lots of cruise channels, actually, because other people do stuff that, it's like, oh, that's cool. Good to know. Like, yeah. There's a couple live down in Florida, Dan and Joy. What the heck's their channel name? Oh, sorry. Drawing a blank. So much fun. No, cruise much. Oh. Shoot. Anyway, they cruise on Carnival all the time. I've never cruised on Carnival, so I watch their channel because they do, okay, this is the food on this ship, and this are these bars, and blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, oh, cool. So I'll pick their brain if I need to. Hey, guys, what about this? I've emailed them a bunch of times. Oh, why can't I remember the name of their dang channel? I'm getting too old. Emma says, so true. I learned so much from everybody. Things are different here in the UK, too, like our port fees are included. See, everyone does stuff differently. North America, not. I mean, it's included in the fare by the time you pay for it, but you still have to, it breaks it out. Okay, this is the fare, this is the taxes and fees, this is the total. It's not hidden away. It's there. You see it. Jackie says, a few years ago, my son and his girlfriend went on the Inland Waterways cruise with about 20 of their friends. Ooh, that would be fun. North America, you get the best cancellation rules, though. Why don't you have the cancellation up to 90 days, though, Emma? See, that's why I could cancel ours back just after Christmas, because our pay up day was January the 28th, when we had to pay the rest of our money at 90 days before the cruise. KD says, my first cruise was on Holland America. I worked for an associate company and got a deal, paid a low price, and was guaranteed a suite. We got a huge room. Nice. Oh, Emma says it's always hidden for us. We never see taxes or fees or anything, just the cruise price. And we never have refundable deposits. Oh, that's a bummer. Unless one of my clients says specifically to book a non-refundable deposit. I always book refundable deposits. It's just, I would never do it with a non-refundable. I know it's not a huge amount often, but sometimes it is. Refundable is just safer. And we didn't actually even use a deposit to book this Alaska thing. We just used our future cruise. So we're just going to get that back on our account because we booked that when we're on Discovery Princess. Most cruise lines do. I know this talk turned into a cruise talk for some reason. Whatever. Anyway. When you're on board, you can basically set up your deposit for the next round, or save a place on a cruise. All the cruise lines all do it slightly differently, but we've been on Princess mostly due to circumstances, is how it is, not by particular choice necessarily, but we're more cognizant with that. So if you go on board, you can actually, my husband booked it on our stateroom TV, and you just do $100 each, and that goes on your Princess account. We've had a Princess account off the Princess website since 1997. It goes and it sits there. And then you have 2 years from that day to use it, i.e. book with it, or it just goes back on your credit card. It's no risk, no brain, just sits there. So when you book whatever comes up, and maybe the deposit is, it's usually the standard deposit, unless there's a sale for reduced deposit, is $500 American. So for us, that's like $630, $635, and that's what it is often is. It is. Well, you don't have to cough up the 600 and whatever dollars. You just book it and you use your future cruise deposit. And that's it. That takes care of the deposit. And on that cruise you booked, you get extra onboard credit. So we booked that. That would have been about the 29th of September, 2022. So if we don't book anything coming up September, we get that money back. It just goes back on our credit card. It's a refund. But as of right now, I can book as far ahead as the end of April 2026, depending, of course, where you want to go. That will exclude Alaska because they don't start. Middle of April is a maybe. But it's for wintertimey destinations in 2026, the Caribbean, Mexico, etc., etc. So who knows? We might. It sort of depends how the planning for Hawaii goes, because we have to concentrate on that and not worry about what comes after that. So we might just get our money back, and that means we'll have to just pay up for the deposit again. It is what it is. Anyway, what time are we at? 5 to 9. Okay, since we're just yapping here and I haven't actually sewn anything in a little bit, I'm gonna go. Thank you everybody for coming in. I will schedule myself for 2 weeks from now. And otherwise, if you guys want to come around to Katie's channel next Thursday, I'm going to say bye now. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate the chatting, and I appreciate you watching me. Take care. Have a nice weekend. Bye, all.